Dog walking is not only a great way to connect with your own pet, but it can also be a lucrative side hustle for those that are comfortable with handling other people's pets too. If you've been thinking about becoming a professional dog walker to earn an additional source of income, or even a full-time income, you might have come across the increasingly popular gig-based app, Rover. In this video, we'll be taking a closer look at the Rover app to see if it's really quite as profitable as people say. The app promises that dog walkers can bring in significant earnings by taking on dog walking gigs offered up by members of their community, much in the same way as Lyft and Uber drivers provide their vehicles for other people in their communities. Keep watching to find out if Rover is the right choice for you. We'll be comparing a few of the pros and cons of the platform while finding out just how much you can really expect to earn with it. Hopefully, after watching this video, you'll have a better idea of whether or not Rover is the right fit for you and your lifestyle. How much money can you make on Rover? According to Rover's operations director, the average part-time dog walker with the platform earned about $1,000 per month last year. While that's not quite enough cash for most of us to live off of, it's not too shabby for a part-time freelance gig. After all, walking dogs isn't exactly the most challenging job. In the US, the average part-time retail employee makes an average of $11 an hour. This equals out to roughly about the same monthly earnings as most Rover part-time dog walkers earn in a given month. As opposed to employees in most other fields, Rover walkers get paid by the half hour and get to set their own rates. That means, depending on your rate, you could potentially earn up to $1,000 per week working as little as 20 hours total. Keep in mind, the data of the average part-time Rover walker making $1,000 a month applies to people that walk 2 or more dogs for 2 weeks out of the month. Taking that into consideration, if you were to work as a part-time dog walker every week instead of every other week, you could earn about $2,000 every single month. Full-time dog walkers who work 5 days a week all month long earn on average $3,300 per month. Of course, you must always consider taxes whenever working as an independent contractor or a freelancer, as they will reduce your net earnings. As a general rule of thumb, you can expect the IRS to take about 1/4 of your income. When you earn a living as a gig worker, it's your responsibility to stay on top of all of these taxes. If you've already worked as a gig worker before, then you're probably already familiar with this reality. But if this is your first time working as an independent contractor, you should be warned that you'll need to earn a little bit extra if you're aiming for a certain amount of take-home pay each month. Rover Takes a Cut. Operating with a similar business model as that of other gig-based platforms, Rover takes a certain percentage of each transaction in exchange for letting you use their service. Basically, this is how the company makes a profit and keeps their service afloat. Although this isn't unusual, the cut that Rover takes of each payment is quite substantial. For every transaction, Rover takes 20%. That being said, they don't touch your tips. All of those go to you in full. We'll also cover tips more in just a minute, so stick around if you're curious about what those look like. Now, the company used to only take a 15% cut, but a few years ago they increased their contractor fees. This high fee has motivated some walkers to jump ship to other platforms, such as Sitter City. But since Rover is the largest network of pet owners in the country, it's unlikely that you'd be able to find nearly as much work on any other platform. At the end of the day, it might be your best bet to suck it up and hand over that 20% fee if your goal is to earn as much cash as possible. Rover boasts that their services are utilized by people in over 14,000 cities across the US and Europe. What that means is no matter where you live or where you go, you can always find a way to make a little extra money on the platform. And since you can set your own rate, you can adjust your price to cover the service fee. For example, let's say you set your rate at $30 per half hour. That means Rover will take $6 from your income for each half-hour walk. If you were to increase your half-hour walk rate to $37.50, you'd still be left with $30 per half hour after fees. Of course, finding clients willing to pay your asking rate might be tricky in some places throughout the country. Affluent areas with lots of wealthy clients tend to be the most profitable places to work as a Rover dog walker. If you live in a low-income rural location, you might find it a bit more difficult to find clients that are willing to pay those higher rates. That reality has led many Rover walkers to commute to wealthier urban settings to provide their services. Setting your rate. How much, or how little, you make with a Rover all depends on a combination of your rate and the number of hours you're willing to put in. If you want to make significant money with this app, there are a few things you can do to increase your income. The first thing you'll need to do is put in as many hours as you can. The second thing you can do to increase your earnings is to set a competitive rate. While you might be tempted to immediately request a higher price for your services, sometimes higher isn't always better. Rover, just like any other gig-based work platform, is highly competitive. If you set your rates too high, clients aren't going to pay for your services when someone else is offering more affordable prices. To get a good idea of where you should set your rates, take a look at what other walkers' rates are in your area. Two walkers can have a very similar set of credentials, but at the end of the day, clients are likely going to choose the walker that offers their services at the lower price. In some cases, you might be able to promote yourself as more of a premium option with services geared to more well-off clients, but once again, that largely depends on where you live and what the economic makeup is like in your area. Walkers who have lower rates almost always get more repeat customers. And ultimately, that's what you should be trying to go for if you're really serious about turning dog walking into a consistent moneymaker. Even so, you don't want to sell yourself short by charging a rate that would result in you earning less than a minimum wage. You have to make sure you're compensated adequately for your time and the fuel needed to drive to and from a client's location. Finding the balance between providing yourself with a reasonable hourly rate and giving your clients the best value for the dollar can be tough at first, especially considering how much competition there is on the Rover app. But you should eventually be able to arrive at the sweet spot that covers all the bases. Rover walkers get tips. One of the best things about working with Rover is that they let their independent contractors keep all of their tips. Unfortunately, at the moment, the only way for a customer to tip a Rover walker is with cash. The app doesn't yet feature a cashless tip option, which means they can't tip you through the app even if they wanted to. Still, you could get creative and let your clients know that you accept Venmo, Cash App, or PayPal for digital cash payments. Despite this drawback, many Rover dog walkers cite tips as being their most significant moneymaker on the platform. If you take a look at the Rover subreddit, there are countless reports of walkers receiving $50 and $100 tips from their clients. Sure, not every customer is going to be quite that generous, but it sounds like you can still expect to receive tips on a fairly regular basis. On average, clients tend to tip according to the common tipping standards for other service industry employees. Somewhere between 10 to 20% of the bill is common for most cash tips. At the very least, these tips should counteract Rover's service fees, but at best, they can provide you with a significant boost to your monthly income. Start your own dog walking business. As you've seen, Rover is a profitable way to get into the dog walking business. They make it easy by connecting you directly with clients in your area. And while you can get paid well and earn even more with tips, that 20% service fee is a huge cost of using the platform. So whether you're a self-starter or you've learned everything you need to know through some trial runs on Rover, you may find that the best option is to start your own dog walking business without using Rover at all. By starting your own business, you can keep 100% of your earnings and build your own reputation as an independent dog walker in your area. To learn more about the process and potential profits, check out our video here about starting a dog walking business. Leave us a comment if you have any questions, and we'll see you in the next video.